Thank you all for tuning in with us here. And we are getting ready to rock and roll with our platinum sponsors, Gamma, who are set to take the stage and show us what this incredibly powerful tool can do. I'm really excited about the visual storytelling that we're going to dig into. With that said, subscribe to our YouTube channel, JNAIU, for more videos like this related to Gamma, and check out Gamma at gamma.app to give it a shot yourself. Amanda and team, stage is yours.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And it's awesome to be here. I've heard a lot about Scale with AI Summit, so I'm really pumped to be sharing about Gamma. So, what we're going to be talking about today specifically is the exploring some of Gamma's newest features to help you craft some engaging visual stories to help captivate your audience. So, I'm seeing a few familiar faces, and this might feel a little bit repetitive for you, but hopefully this is something that, resonates with you and certainly encourage a lot of discussion if folks have questions. I don't have the chat open, but feel free to just stop me if you have any questions or anything you want to cover. I am making some assumptions here that most folks here know Gamma already, but just to do a quick little elevator pitch about what Gamma is before I dive in. So, at Gamma, we're building tools for the imagination. And the purpose behind what we're trying to do is build these powerful AI tools to help you share your thoughts in these beautiful presentations, sites, social posts, and anything else that you can think of. And so, one of the reasons why we're building Gamma is to help you, is because we believe in the creations that you're making. Okay, so Darby already did a little introduction, but this is the team on the call today. So I'm Amanda. I run our power user community. We have Hilary on the call. She's our head of customer experience, and she's going to be involved a bit later in a Gamma demo. And then we also have Dae-Ho, who is our technical support engineer, and he is here to answer some more technical questions or just questions that I don't know the answer to. So thank you, Dae-Ho, for being here. And together, the three of us make up Gamma's customer experience team. So, okay, what are we going to be talking about today specifically? So, first, I want to set a little bit of a foundation on why visual storytelling can be a powerful tool for conveying your ideas to your audience. And next, we're going to talk about some of the new features in Gamma that can actually help you utilize, that you can utilize and help you tell an engaging story. And then we're going to walk you through what I've been calling a Gamma makeover, where we're going to show you how to quickly make edits to your Gamma to utilize some of these visuals we're talking about. And of course, at the very end, we'll have a Q&A, but like I said, feel free to ask questions or stop me throughout as well. Okay, so I do want to share a little bit about who I am because I've sat in on a lot of different Gamma webinars and, something about me that I wanted to share with you all is that I am not a designer. I'm not someone on our product team. I have spent the last 11 years of my career in the customer experience space. And what I'm hoping to bring to you all today is the perspective of someone who doesn't really have the design skills and instead is trying to create interesting and compelling stories to keep people like yourselves engaged. I know sometimes we make these incredible gammas and you see what our design team has made, but like I said, I'm trying to come from a perspective of someone who's just a regular person trying to make an engaging presentation. So before I joined Gamma, I would spend countless hours in Google Slides, PowerPoint, and would basically stay up until early hours of the morning, perfecting the formatting on my slide, on my like one slide that I was going to do the next day and present for 5 minutes. And it just was such a pain. And it's just, I'm so glad to be out of that, that, that part of my life. But something I wanted to share with you all, and this is an actual anecdote. So I recently attended a conference with Hilary and Dae-Ho, and there were some incredible thought leaders at this conference. It was in person, and one of the takeaways I had from this conference was how many really incredibly smart people with great ideas were sharing their thoughts on these really boring presentations. And it really resonated with me because these incredible ideas ended up getting buried by these text-heavy slides I found myself losing my attention was going elsewhere. And so one of the goals of today is to just share some of the ways that you can use Gamma to get your ideas out there in an engaging way. Okay, so why are we talking about visual storytelling today specifically? So I cannot take credit for these numbers. These are some of the numbers that our core PM Diana Berlin researched, but I wanted to share with you all today. So first one is that our brains process visuals a lot faster than text. Some say that it's up to 60,000 times faster. And the other thing, and I can actually relate to this, is that the majority of people are visual learners. So the picture for most people communicates more faster than text does alone. And then lastly, content with relevant images attached gets twice as many views. And of course, this really varies on the channel you're using, but I think what it helps with is it speaks to a broader theme that visuals are important for an audience to keep them engaged. Okay, so at Gamma, and before I show you some of these new features, I want to talk about some of the foundations of Gamma that I think most of you are familiar with. So the first one is themes. Themes are here to help keep you effortlessly on brand. They can help explain your visual tone consistency across all different content types, whether it's a presentation or a social carousel. And one of the things about themes is that I think it really conveys is that aesthetics are important. It's if you like how something looks, you're going to present it with more confidence. And one of the neat things about Gamma is that it has this visual range to match your specific preferences. The next one that we have is images. And these are just so powerful in Gamma. And I know a lot of you utilize images specifically in the generator flow to when you're creating your Gamma and your AI images. But what I think some folks, or maybe the folks on this call already know, you can utilize images throughout the editing experience as well. So, if you're building a Gamma and you have an idea for a really good image, you're able to quickly bake that into your existing Gamma very seamlessly. And then lastly, what we're going to be focusing on mostly today is our visualization options. So something that we're consistently adding more of is these visualizations because we've heard from all of you that this is the number one thing that helps make your gammas more impactful and engaging. Okay, so we have I'm going to walk through some of our newer features called smart diagrams, and these are designed to transform your ideas into engaging visuals very easily. I'm curious how many folks on this call have used smart diagrams already? I know there are some people that have used it because I think I saw Grant. Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm just going to walk through just a couple of these. The first one, I'm going to start with the Venn diagram. This is just one of my personal favorites. I like to use it for a lot of different things. And one of the things that's neat about smart diagrams is that they come in perfectly on theme. So when you drop a smart diagram into your gamma, they pick up on the theme and they also pick up on the topic of your gamma and add what they think might be relevant to the diagram. So in this case, but really easily knew that we were talking about smart diagrams. So it said you combine a visual story with data and you get smart diagrams. So I thought this was pretty neat. Next one that we have that I wanted to show is the bullseye. And what I think is interesting about this one is that it shows you what is important at the core and then it branches out from there. And this one actually is like fully AI generated. So some of it is a little bit, I probably if I were making this for a real presentation, I probably would have edited some of these image or icons or the text, but just to give you an idea of what this looks like basically out of the box. And then the last one, I just want to share the iceberg because I think it's so cool. And I haven't quite figured out how to use it in my gammas yet, but I know that there are people out there that have. And so I just wanted to give you all another view of another smart diagram that I'm a big fan of. Okay. So I that's a little bit about what we're going to be talking about. Now that I've showed you some of these features, Hillary and I are actually going to walk through how to put all of these together into a gamma and then also how to quickly edit them with little effort. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and give Hilary the floor to share her screen.
All right. You see it, Amanda?
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay, so in this demo, basically Hillary is thinking about opening a cat cafe and she has made this gamma. And what we're going to do is we're going to walk through this together to make it look more visually appealing. Right now, Hillary, I think this looks pretty good. I think there is like some opportunity to make it look a little bit nicer, but overall, like I like the images you've added here, and I can see you have some cool layouts involved. I do see some opportunity to make it like a little bit more visually engaging, but overall, I think it's so cool that you want to open a cat cafe.
I think the content here is really good, but I feel like it's coming across really bland, and I would love to make it a little more visually appealing.
Cool. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So you went through one card earlier, the customer profile card, I think.
Oh, right here.
Yeah. So in this case, I feel, especially like in the projected impact table, there's just a lot of text. Like I don't think a lot of folks have time to read all of that. So in this case, do you want to try using editing with AI to try a new layout for this card?
Let's do it. So I'm going to click up here in the upper left corner, click on the sparkle icon, and it says try new layout here. So
Okay,
let's see what it comes up with. It's going to come up with at least 5 new options for me. It's generating right now. And I can click through and preview them so we can look at them together and see what works.
awesome.
It may take a minute though.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
That one's interesting. It looks very similar to what I already had, but I do that it broke up the projected impact into 3 sections. So I do feel like that's a little bit more visually easier to read.
Yeah, I think so too. Let's see. Oh, it's going to give you the massive AI image. No, this is going to be fun. What's it going to look? Oh,
Oh,
does it look so? Whenever we're doing a live demo, it's like, what is this AI image going to look like? Is it going to look like a cat or is it going to look like something?
terrifying.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, I do this one with the cat as a accent image, but it's in the background. Yeah, and then we have some interesting layouts here too, with the smart stacked arrow layouts.
I
I
do.
don't this one. It just came up with this one as well.
That's interesting. Yeah, I do the one with the background. I think that one was my favorite personally, but this is your pitch deck.
Yeah, the accent images I feel like on the card because the content is so beefy, I feel like it's just really making it seem, even though it's not that much more content, it visually feels like I'm gonna have to put in a lot more effort to read it, and I certainly don't want my viewers to feel that way. Yeah, maybe we can go back to this one right here.
Okay. I like that one. I feel good about it.
Sweet. Okay. I'm just gonna close out this editing and we're good to go there.
Great. Sweet. Okay, so the next one that stood out to me was the next card, which is the competitive landscape card, which,
Yeah.
yeah, super, super text heavy. Um, I think in this case, one of the things that could be cool to edit is making it a bit shorter and also adding some visuals to this card.
You're probably right. I got very into writing out my competitive landscape analysis here. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the edit with AI again and see what options I have. I think probably making the text shorter first is the best option, and then we can maybe add some visuals.
Cool.
All right. It says it's condensing. Hopefully it doesn't condense too much. I still want it to maintain some of what I'm trying to convey, obviously.
Interesting.
I
Yeah,
think this did a decent job.
it's definitely more concise than before.
Yeah.
I wonder if in this case, like you could really utilize speaker notes for some of the points you want to get across, but as far as like
Mhm.
the card itself goes, you can have the points you want to hit on.
Yeah. We'll accept this for now. That's fine. And for folks that haven't used speaker notes in Gamma, you would input those by clicking on Add Notes in the upper right-hand corner of this card. You can actually have AI generate them for you too. So if you're feeling lazy or you want to edit a draft rather than come up with your own, that is also something you can do. Great. Now I have some notes. I can go ahead and add to those and maybe add some of the text that was removed into these.
Awesome. Yeah, I was using the generate AI notes today, but what I ended up doing mostly was it just gave me a starting point and then I was able to add my own thoughts from there.
Yeah, agree. All right, let's see if we can make this more visual. Rather than trying to do a different layout, let's just ask it to make more visual. See what it comes up with. I do feel like because this is still a more text-heavy card, I don't think there's any more text that we can remove. So I want to make sure that the visuals that are added contribute to the message versus detract. Like for example, I'm not loving this image here.
Yeah, Venn diagram. It doesn't make any sense.
I'm gonna go ahead and delete that one. I'm just gonna delete this whole column. But I like these here.
Yeah, me too. Cat with coffee. It's cute.
All right, I feel good about this one.
Compared to before, I think this is definitely like a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I see on the card just below this one, you have
Hmm.
something about financial projections. And so
Oh
I
yeah.
what would be a cool thing to show is using the Edit with AI chat to add a graph to the financial projections section just to have a little bit more of an impact on the sorts of things that finances that can just, I don't know, grow with your cat
Hmm.
cafe.
Dae-Ho, you have your hand up.
Yeah, there was a question from the audience if you have a sec.
Yeah,
So once you
let's
use
do
the
it.
AI notes, does it take the notes you have made and automatically change the text on the card?
No, generating speaking notes doesn't change any of the text on the card. Is that the question?
Not sure, but we can clarify.
Yeah, that won't impact unless you're like editing with AI in some way, it's not going to impact what's already on your card. It's just generating notes based on the content that's on your card.
Sounds good. That's it for now. Thanks.
Sweet. Thank you. All right. Okay, so you want me to use our AI agent to add like a graph for the financial projection section, Amanda?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see how that looks.
And this is real. Today I learned that Command E opens up in the chat with AI. So, yay, shortcuts. Okay. Let's see. Let's add a graph to the financial projection section. And let's see what it comes up with. Look at that. Okay.
Nice.
I think this is more helpful. I think if we were continuing to refine in real time, I would probably change like this column around as well. Maybe add a fourth image or just maybe remove one of them. I feel like it is a little bit image heavy, but this graph is really nice. We can
I'm
actually make this a
wondering.
little bit bigger.
So it is like it did accurately pull the numbers from that. Okay, cool. So as opposed to doing, if you just like drop in a graph or you do like forward slash, edit with AI can be a pretty an easier way to add some of these visuals and we'll just plop it in with the right information. We got a
Awesome.
question from Tina. If you want to split a card into two cards, what's the best way to do that?
Ooh, there's a quick shortcut for that. If you don't remember it off the top of your head, Amanda, what we can do here is click this question mark icon and click keyboard shortcuts.
Oh, no.
So a split card is the asterisk 3 times. So for example, if I wanted to split this longer card here, let's do it here. There we go. So that's an easy shortcut way to just split the cards. And then Command Z can undo what you just did.
For the other one, the business model one, where we have
Mhm.
a table, we basically have to change the layout for it to split it.
Yeah, we would have to like probably drag this out
Got it.
and then come underneath this smart layout and then split it. Yep.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for helping me make this look better.
Yeah,
Any other questions before we move on? I think we're good for now. Okay, cool.
cool. Okay, so now I want to jump more into the chat with AI feature. And
Okay.
so something that I think would be really helpful to this gamma is adding other examples of cat cafes that
Mm.
show it's a pretty fruitful, successful business. So I think what we should try is chatting with AI and asking it to do a web search of the three most popular cat cafes and add that into a card.
Okay, let's try it. It's thinking.
This might take a little bit longer just since it's a web search.
It worked this morning, y'all.
Oh no, it's not.
It's in a loop of searching the web. Here, hold on. Let's start a new one. There we
Yeah.
go.
Okay, so just took a minute. Yeah, so Grant's saying I actually didn't know it could search the web. I also learned that just recently. This feature is in beta, but I chatted with Deanie, who's one of the PMs that's building this out, and she was telling me, she was showing me some of the cool things that this can do, which is one of them is like searching the web, have it create a card for you, and just quickly add that into your Gamma.
Nice. Well, it did add a card. Successful cat cafes in the US. It's adding an accent image right now. This is really cool because it's telling me some of their locations. It's telling me what offerings they have as well. It's even giving me the hours for the one in Tucson.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Parlor. I want to, okay, so I'm like looking these up because I think a common question we get is this accurate? Is this real? And I'm just like looking up these cat cafes and it was searched from the web, so these are things that actually exist, which I think this looks great and can be a lot easier to use your Gamma or to add to your Gamma. Sorry, I got distracted by the chat.
No, you're fine. Darby, I have done that before in other, like when I was actually editing for real, where I'd be like, okay, add an image to card 4, and it would do it.
Really cool.
Yeah. Awesome.
Awesome.
All
Okay.
right. What else? What else do you think we should add to this or
Okay,
edit?
so I feel like it's looking pretty good. I feel like there's a couple more tweaks that we can make. So I think what's really helpful with these sort of with any sort of like pitch deck is having an executive summary. I think that if you want to ask AI to add an executive summary to the Gamma, that could make it more impactful.
All right. Let's give it a try. See what it summarizes here. Great. It's creating the card. And while it's doing that, I actually noticed that it added key success factors. It actually added 2 cards for the search the web and come up with the 3 most popular. So we can take a look at that in a minute.
Vibe presenting. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I really like this executive summary. I'm going to drag it below the title card just because I think that makes more sense, which I did by just dragging in the film strip here. I think that's a pretty basic gamma point at this point for the folks on this call, but just so you know, you can shift around using the film strip. I really like how it highlighted in different colors. I find that really visually appealing and I'm drawn to those numbers. So I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's
I like
interesting
this.
what to do. I actually haven't seen Gamma do this before with highlighting different like
No,
numbers and stuff.
no, I like it. It looks really good.
Awesome.
But going down to the cards that I added, so the most successful cat cafes, I didn't realize I added these key success factors at the bottom here, which I actually really am just focusing on some of the strategic partnerships they have to like just promote animal welfare in general and education. I thought it added another one too. Okay, maybe I made that up, but it did add that bottom part, which we didn't take a look at.
Yeah. Grant, which part of
Wait,
you like how did we add the highlights or
Yeah, the highlights.
we didn't tell it to.
Oh, okay.
I mean
Yeah,
Awesome. It's insanely helpful.
yeah, I'll bet you we could. I bet you we could tell it, prompt it to, but yeah, all I did was ask for an executive summary with no other parameters.
yeah, that is interesting. I wonder if you could ask it to highlight key numbers and yeah, that's actually the same thought. Should we just give it a
Let's try it. Let's try it. Okay, let's do it on. We have some numbers here.
there was the financial one.
Yeah. Okay, let's try it on this one. And the financial one is card 8. So we'll test out the card number too. Highlight key numbers and executive highlights. It looks like it might have gotten the card wrong, but it did highlight.
That's interesting. So I wonder because I know you can select the card itself. So I wonder
Hmm.
just like you select the card and then
Yeah, let's try it here. I'm gonna call out the title of it too. Business simple. There we go. Live demoing is fun.
yeah, I know it's also like very much still in beta.
Yeah.
Right on.
Okay. Yeah, this looks pretty nice. I don't know. We'd probably have to ask it Grant for like multicolor if we wanted it to do what it did on the executive summary, but this is super helpful. Sweet.
Right on.
Overall, I feel like my cards are in a pretty good spot, but I do feel like it's still really bland, and I'm a pretty colorful person. I feel like this is still not quite my aesthetic.
Cool. I agree, and I'm glad that you're down to change the theme on this one. I think for a cat cafe, I think just having a more playful or fun theme would just really get the point home. I think in this case we should chat with AI and ask it to change the theme and just give it the prompt that whatever you want it to look like, if you want it to be more playful, more colorful, whatever it is that kind of the vibe you're feeling.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna ask it to be more playful, pick a theme that is more playful, and see if it comes up with some fun colors. Awesome. It sounds like it's gonna suggest multiple, which is nice. I like options. And check on the chat. It's all quiet. Okay.
Oh, interesting. So Grant mentioned that he
Ooh,
was able to get it to change the colors.
let me see. Okay. Use colors to make sure they stand out. Oh, I like that. Okay. Oh, it gave me seafoam. I actually like seafoam. Peach is one of my favorites too. Ooh, that one does look nice too. I like the vibrancy of the seafoam though, so I think I'm gonna stick with that one. I really like that one.
Sweet. That looks good.
Awesome. I feel like this looks much better than when we initially started.
I do too. Something I want to call out because it's just noticeable to me is that because your images are tailored to the theme, you have a lot of these oranges and whites and blacks, and
Mm,
the images, of course, aren't going to change with the theme. But that said,
right.
I think that's something that we could use like edit with AI to change the images. And I don't know if I think that's a demo for another time, but that is something I wanted to call out because at least it just
Yeah.
felt noticeable to me. But it is cool that you can chat with AI to change the theme and
It did change the colors on my graph, so it does adapt to like the layouts and I think the diagrams as well, but right, it's not gonna regenerate images unless I explicitly go in and do that.
the other thing I learned is that say you're spending more time on this and it's like the next day and you're like, actually, I liked my old theme. You can chat with
Mhm.
AI and have it change it back to the old theme.
Ooh.
It remembers it basically it takes in your whole gamma. And so you're able to say revert it back to whatever the theme was,
Do I
which
have to remember the theme name or can I just say, hey, revert it back to the original theme?
yeah, you can just at least that's what I was able to get it to do that.
Nice. Fabulous.
Awesome. We finished a lot sooner than I thought. So, I was just going to open it up for Q&A, but while we have this open, is there any other requests that people have or
I'd love to hear maybe some best practices for setting up custom themes and like how to curate this experience a little bit more once you already have a brand or you're working with developing a new brand or so I know there's stuff that you can set up in advance that'll make the on-brandness immediate after you've got that set up.
yeah. What do you think, Hilary? You want to
Okay, so I'm not a designer, so I'm not going to be able to give you design advice on best practices. But if you do click theme in the upper right-hand corner here, you are able to import, first of all, which I don't know if folks know. If I had something prepped and ready to go in terms of like my slide and brand templates, I could import this here. So PowerPoint, Google Slides are file types that are supported. If we're just going to customize, then we can just build a theme here. So through all of these modals, there's 5 of them here at the bottom. We'll have a curated section for you, but then you can also get into the nitty-gritty and actually really customize it. So it depends on how, I imagine if you're doing this for your own brand, you're going to have very specific colors and branding. So you're probably not just going, oh, I like this pink color, this coral color. So clicking customize, you can adjust quite a bit. So your primary accent colors, you're able to add secondaries as well. If you click onto the hex code here, you're able to change it and input your own. And you can also adjust to if this is a solid or a gradient. So you can get pretty granular with the controls here. Same with text, you can do the same thing. Same with accessibility, you can turn this on and off. I don't know that there's ever a reason to turn it off, but you can. Background color, page background. You can pull the page background from all of the typical places that you normally can pull an image, but you can also just have it be a solid color or a gradient. And I've definitely done this before with different gradient options.
Oh, I love that.
Very cotton candy, very unicorn. So once you have this set, you can hit continue and it'll just pop you over to the next portion of your custom theme. You are able to upload fonts, but you can also pick from here. And then, yeah, adjust all your headings, the boldings, that sort of thing. You get pretty advanced with your line height and your spacing. Sorry, I got distracted by the chat. I'm going to ignore that. And then once you continue on, you can also play with the style. So something I love the ones that have a pretty hefty shadow for the cards. So clicking like maybe capsule or something, but you can go into customize and make it even more to your preference. So if you want a less rounded corner and maybe a really deep card shadow, which I do have here in my card border, I like it thick. There we go. And then you can also play with your card transparency too. Keep in mind, I've definitely seen support questions come in about this. Changing your card transparency is potentially going to change the appearance of your colors. And so we've definitely had people be like, I put in this specific hex code, it is not showing up as this hex code. And it was actually an issue with the overlay. So keep that in mind as you're playing around with these. And fade is one of my favorites for the accent images, but we have some other fun shapes that you can add in. We're going to keep it fade for mine. I don't know that I have a logo to upload, but if I did, I would put it right there. And then, of course, rename it. There's my Scale with AI theme. It's something. But there it is. So once you have a custom theme created, you're going to be able to find all of them for that workspace, I believe, under custom. So once again, how we got here was clicking on theme in the upper right-hand corner and then clicking custom. But if you ever want to revert back to just a standard one, you can just click over to standard. But if I had the logo, that would make it a little bit more professional looking in terms of branding. Darby, did I answer your question?
Yeah, I think that's just a cool way that people that are going to be creating a lot of branded, consistent themes or other types of content that you can definitely spend more time there to refine it. And if we have time and it's something of interest, is like the image generation is inside of the themes, you can actually put guidelines around the images so that whenever it outputs, like sometimes it could be like a super cartoony, not on brand image theme, but if you put some extra instructions in there that can help with maybe toning down some of what AI might do to generate images in general, or
Yeah,
keeping it
that
more
is
in line.
true.
But I'm not sure, and maybe this is a question you guys might know the answer to, is if you can choose which custom AI image model you use when you're setting the theme
That's
for
a great question.
because like we use like ideogram is a great one, especially for like words and text, but some other models might be preference. Can you tell what model was used to generate this cat cafe image when you click on it?
Click into this here. We can edit the image here.
I don't think you can
Um,
specify the accent images, but I think you can, yeah, after the fact, see what model had been used.
It's a good point on the accent images because one of the gammas I was setting up, I went and generated a lot of super specific style accent images and then
yeah.
uploaded those into the theme. I only wanted a certain type of accent image, and then I was going to use other image generations there. I think it's a really cool way to customize at a more advanced level, but it can feel like a lot to do right out the gate. And so I definitely recommend people starting with the pre-built ones and then starting probably with one that's close to what you have in mind and then customizing that and then optimizing it from there after
Hmm.
the fact.
I agree with your approach as well. And for some of these too, like when you're setting the style, you can opt to use the theme style. And if you're like, oh, I don't remember what that was, you can go in here and be like, oh, okay, great. So for example, in this
Mhm.
theme, I think this is what you're talking about, Darby,
Yep.
like the AI images and the accent images, like either removing these, uploading your own, or making sure that this prompt is really consistent with your brand is important. But it's definitely a more advanced step.
Yep.
There
Sweet.
was a question earlier in the chat.
Mhm.
I'm not exactly sure what they're referring to, but like Teresa's asking, what if you wanted to create a supporting brochure or marketing materials? Would you have to start over again, or is there a shortcut?
Do you mean like directly from the gamma that you've already created?
That's what I believe. That's the only way the question made sense to me.
You can
I
do
mean,
that,
you
right?
could,
Yeah, I was thinking that if since you've just created this website, right? So if there was something that would be a supporting thing that you would have at the cafe, then the theme goes through and all the pictures are the same and so forth. And so that's why I was wondering, do we have to start over again, or is there a way to make a brochure that actually goes with the website you just created?
oh, I see what you're saying. Definitely open to best practices here. I haven't had to actually do this myself, but something that I would do to start so I don't mess up my proposal here already is I would duplicate it and then start playing around with it. So going over here to these lines here and then duplicating the gamma. Let's make a copy of it. That way I'm not losing any of my original work, but I'm still retaining my images and everything that I have. Now, depending on the brochure, we don't have a layout that is specific to a brochure, but maybe you want to make this into a social post. That is something that you could absolutely do. And you might want to remove most of these cards, or maybe keep them and change the imaging, or keep the image and change like the content on the cards. And I think you could really leverage the AI agent to do that for you and then post it as a social.
Yeah, and then other people are chiming in the chat. You can also do this duplicate and create a document format or presentation format on the
Hmm.
duplicate.
Yeah,
Right, I
also
think
good calls.
I agree with the duplicate best practice just so that you have maintaining the styling.
If you do anything cool with it, let us know. Let Darby know or let us know. We would love to see it. Awesome.
Cool.
What other questions while I'm still screen sharing?
Don't see any in the chat. If anyone wants to unmute or type something, go for it.
Got a question if you could just highlight the side of what these presentations can do, because I know that there's some ways to get insights about who's looking at what page or what pages are getting viewed. If you could just maybe just show how to even access that, I think that's super helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. So clicking the three dots at the top again will take you to quite a few options that you might have keyboard shortcuts for in the first place, like undo. But you can also choose analytics from here. So really, Amanda and I are the only two that have looked at this, and we just made this. So there's not a ton in terms of the analytics, but you can see the unique viewers. If someone is not in Gamma or is maybe like an incognito, they'll show up as anonymous viewers. And you can see like when it was last open and the count of cards viewed. And then if you switch over to card engagement, you can see where the most time was spent, as well as the percentage viewed. Is it the most robust? No, but it definitely gives you an idea and a snapshot into what is drawing your audience's attention and where people are either confused and spending the most time or interested in spending the most time.
There's also ways I know you can gate content in Gamma with a password. I've seen people talking about monetizing like interactive guides in that sense and in some other unique cases, but you can do with presentations, or is it only limited to, or is it limited to anything, any of the specific kind of outputs? Because there's documents as well that I'm not sure if you can do that for.
Yeah, you can do it for docs. So how I got here was clicking share in the upper right hand corner, going back to share over here, and then required a password to view. And you have to turn on link sharing. So if you see I'm hovering here, this is grayed out, you have to turn on link sharing to be able to set the password. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that on just to view. And now I can require a password to view that. So then I would go ahead and enter that, save it, and then obviously send it to the folks that I want to be able to see it.
Brant had a suggestion. We just announced the new studio view in beta for Gambasters. Do you want to try and live test it out here in front of everyone? It's under the generate with AI flow.
It is, and I actually played with it for the first time this morning. So yeah, let's do it. And then I'll show you the one that I made this morning. It takes a minute because it's so image heavy. So let's go ahead and create new with AI. What Dae-Ho is referring to is the studio option right here. Try it out. I need a fun, interesting visual idea though. So someone shout one out or give me one. For example, the one that I did this morning was a spa for mermaids and mermen.
I think it should be like a story. Like I think the ones that I've seen as of yesterday are something like almost story-like.
What's your favorite fairy tale?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
The
Okay.
Little Mermaid. Go with this mermaid.
We'll stick with the mermaid. The story of the Little Mermaid. All right. Which really, if you think about it, the moral of the Little Mermaid is gross. Change yourself so someone loves you. But that's neither here nor there. So we're going to go ahead and click generate. I'm fine with this keepsake, very sea foamy type watery theme. And we'll let it start generating.
Can I provide some of the very limited context I have about this? Only
Please
because
do. Yeah.
learned. I am not sure how many folks here are in the Gambassador community, but this is like a highly experimental feature. And basically, what I've been told is we don't even know if this is something that we're going to release, but we're trying to gather feedback on it and see if this is something you all would want to use. And what's so different about this, like Hilary mentioned, it takes forever because it's generating images for the cards. And probably one of the most different things about it is that if you're using Gamma in a traditional sort of editing way where you're not using edit it with AI very much, or you're not changing the image prompts, this is going to change the way that you use Gamma because you can't necessarily edit your cards in a traditional way. You have to use the AI agent chat or you have to change the image prompts. It's super new and obviously like buggy and there's a lot to it that's still in the works, but it's interesting. I think it's interesting and one of the reasons why they're releasing this with all of our Gambassadors is a lot of you folks are kind of power users of Gamma and so yeah, we're curious like how would people use this? That's what I know, basically.
That's all I know.
Yeah, and it's an emphasis on full card visuals, less text.
I mean,
And you would be editing the images with AI.
Yeah.
It's like a completely, yeah, like Amanda said, a different way of interacting with Gamma. So it's very experimental.
my first thought just for seeing how it flows here is like how much of a storyboard direction you can give to it initially to where it actually storyboards like each one of those outputs. And then those could be like the premise for moving to like a video generation model or at least getting the theme of the story in the right steps. This is really cool.
Yeah, I'm very impressed. That
Honestly,
transformation was,
oh,
It
sorry.
did a really nice job. Something that I noticed that I saw in one of the ones that one of our engineers made earlier is that it seems to be very dark, and I don't know what's driving that. And I just started playing with this today, so I don't know if I can prompt it to maybe lighten this. But some of the images like got very dark. I feel like you can barely see Ursula here. I would like to bring her more to the forefront, but this is like point for point the correct arc of the story. Yeah.
This is one of the better ones I've seen, to be honest. And I've only seen a handful of them, but
This was the spa that I made. So this one's lighter. So it did do a pretty good job here. And it did add a little bit of text. I did not ask it to this morning when I was playing, but it did add some text.
How does one get to this again if you want to test it out? Do you have to be a pro user or
Is it just for ambassadors right now?
I think it's just for Gambassadors.
yeah, right
So
now, yeah.
I just threw it in the chat. If you're on this call and you want to give it a try, send me an email at community@gamma.app and I'll get you added to the community, which you'll get to be a part of an awesome network of Gamma users, but also you'll get to try out this feature.
Yeah. And so we got to it to answer, I think Darby asked, create just on the generate page, it'll be under studio right here. So above the prompts, but below your generate options.
okay.
Yeah, Darby, if you don't see it or if anyone doesn't see it, shoot Amanda an email. We'll get you taken care
Darby,
of.
did you just join Ambassadors recently?
I've been there for a minute.
I'll look into it. I'll DM you.
And just for context again, as someone's asking, it's community@gamma.app. Yep. Fabulous. But yeah, I was very impressed this morning and I think it's really cool. But I mean, we can try editing in real time. I don't have anything else to cover. Let's see. Because like we have some suggestions here. Let's ask to make, where's the one with Ursula?
Maybe brighter would be a better verb.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you want to try brighter or lighter?
Try brighter.
Make Ursula more monstrous.
Yeah, it's also crazy that it picked up Ursula in the image.
Oh, interesting. It says it doesn't see an image. This card doesn't have a title. Card 6. Make card 6 brighter. If it knows, okay, so yeah. Limitations, folks. That's interesting. But if I ask it to make her more monstrous, what is it going to do? I'm scared. Studio lighting. I'll try that after Darby. It's really small, so I don't know if y'all can see it.
Whoa.
Oh my
How Ursula
God.
actually looked. This is like the Little Mermaid unhinged.
Nightmare version, yeah.
Yeah.
This is horrible. It's also interesting to me that it added a new card at the top and didn't actually touch the original here. So it's super interesting. Amanda, you just told me about this today. Do you know like when they started playing with this internally?
I have no idea. I learned about it yesterday, and
Okay. I knew.
yeah,
That's funny.
yeah, I wish I had more context. But I think, I guess a call to action for this group with this feature specifically is that I think it really is up to the people that are trying this. And if you think it's something you would see yourself using and whatever, any sort of feedback you have, the team is really eager to hear from folks. I'm so distracted by that creepy image.
I'm sorry. I can't change it.
But yeah, I think that's like a big important part of it is like I said, we're not even sure if this is something we would release. And so I think part of the question is, yeah, would you use this?
I'm trying the studio lighting prompt. This already looks more promising. But it says it's going to edit the monstrous Ursula image, and I did it on my God. I did it on the card with Ariel in the water. So it's not really good at understanding which card to edit at this point. She looks fabulous now. Look at her. Look at that lighting.
Oh my God. Wow.
Oh, this is fun. Yeah, that's super creepy.
I will say that like compared to the one that you did earlier, Hillary, like this one turned out even better.
Yeah, I was a little, I mean, it was still really good. I don't know where my other one just went. Yeah, this one. It was very monotone in terms of colors. I also gave it a super basic prompt, which was basically a spa for mermaids and mermen. Like I did not give it any other context. So I think it did okay. But yeah, definitely overwhelming for the most part. Underwhelming. And this is the only AI image that really got messed up in the one I did earlier. So these hands are pretty much perfect. I was really impressed with that. But then you come here and it looks like she has hands for her feet and then her tail is maybe her ponytail. I'm not sure. So I know, Darby. Sorry. Yeah, these hands are absolutely like pristine. Yeah. I know we have 5 minutes left. I don't know if Darby, you want us to like pause here and give folks a chance to have a bio break before your next session, or if there's more questions we can answer.
Yeah, I think this was great. Like overall, like a lot of really cool ways to use Gamma on the storytelling side, see what's coming up with the tool. And let me do this real quick. Yeah, I just want to thank y'all for coming on and being a part of showcasing what Gamma can do. At the end of the day, all these tools are growing so fast and like new features come out and it's up to us to play with them and let y'all know if these are something that will really make sense to use, especially from the Gambassador side. Anyone that hasn't tried out Gamma yet, definitely go to gamma.app, give it a try, give it a test and see how it works for you. And make sure you're subscribed to us here on YouTube and inside the community so you can be a part of these types of conversations as we do more of these Gamma demos. Thanks once again, Hilary, Amanda, Dae-Ho, for coming on, and we'll see you on the other side.